Hey guys, Brian here with HBR Colorado, home buyers in Colorado Springs. Today we're going to be going through the exact process of wholesaling houses. If you're new to wholesaling, don't know how it works, basically the wholesaler goes to the seller, puts the property under contract for a certain price, let's say $100,000. Now they're going to assign that contract, the rights to that contract, to another investor. So basically you're just a middleman. It's just like you can wholesale anything. You can wholesale, bicycles. You go out there and find a guy, you find your neighbor and be like, hey Bob, I'll give you $50 for that lawnmower. He's like, well, it's worth 100. And you're like, well, whatever, I'll give you $50. And he says, okay. So you take it and then you go and sell it for 100 and you make $50. Now you might ask yourself, well, why would anybody ever want to sell their house or something of value for less than it's actually worth? Well, that's a good question. And the reason is that people get into all types of sticky situations in life that force their hand and make them really need to sell their house. Like, for example, you could have a squatter inside your house that you need to evict, or you've tried to evict and you can't get them out. So you might want to sell your house quickly for less than it's worth for that reason. You might have a house that needs thousands and thousands of dollars worth of repairs before it could finally be listed on the market. A lot of people have unrealistic expectations when they go to list their property for sale. They might think that they can just paint the walls and then get full market value. And then the realtor comes up and says, hey, listen, if you don't put 30 grand into this thing, you're not going to sell it for a dime over 200. And meanwhile, the whole time they thought they were just going to be able to, throw up some paint and sell it for 250. Common problem. So the thing is with wholesaling is it's a very tricky process because you're the middleman and you're trying to work together all these different pieces of the transaction. You have the seller and everything that they got going on. They might be calling 5 other investors at the same time that they're talking to you through email or phones, and they might be getting other offers. And no, it's not even if they might be, they are. You might as well just assume it. Just assume that you're competing against 5 to 10 other investors who are also making offers on the same exact property. So you have to be right there, Johnny on the spot. You got to be on top of your game. You need to be following up. More phone calls, more emails, text messages, every point of contact that you can hit them with, direct mail. Just be there, go to the property, make appointments, send contracts, make offers, make verbal offers, make email offers. I use DocuSign. Sign up at DocuSign. I think it's like $500 for the year or something like that. You can send unlimited contracts through email. I mean, nobody wants to be faxed a contract or have to sit there and print out some 18-page, Colorado real estate contract and then have to fill it out with a pen and then scan the documents. This isn't 1986. Just get DocuSign, send them the virtual contracts. They can sign it digitally. Boom. You get the signature back to your email, send it over to the title company. They open title, run the title commitment report, which is the next step, by the way. Once you have the signed contract, the agreement with the seller, you don't even have to have a buyer yet. You could just have a signed contract with the seller, and you can send that over to the title company and open title, they call it. And once you open the title, they're going to run a title commitment report to see if there's any liens on the property. They're going to see how much is still owed on the property through the mortgage. And then if there is a mortgage, they're going to request from the bank to find out how much is still owed on the property. That way they can get the payoff at the closing. So how this all works. Wholesaling is very difficult. Over 90% of people who start wholesaling quit, or it's been said that over 90% quit, which I believe because it's extremely hard. I've tried multiple other businesses and ventures throughout my life, from computer repair, online marketing, SEO, e-commerce. I mean, I've tried all that different stuff, and wholesaling real estate is by far the hardest thing that I've ever even looked at, besides like maybe video game development or 3D programming and all that stuff. So this is something that is only a good fit for a small percentage of the population. I would say less than probably 3% of the population is going to be able to hack it in this type of niche, but you know, if you're that special type of animal, that person who just has to get it, like you're the go-getter, the lion of your family who's like, listen, I'm trying to build myself a new life. I'm not going to sit here working this menial job for the rest of my life. I'm going to go out there and hustle to close deals. And you really have to hustle. You need to be on your game, because the thing with real estate is it's all about time. It's all about a matter of time. The time that the lead comes in to the time that you make contact. That's your first response time. Your first response time is critical. Your first response time needs to be as fast as possible. As soon as you see that lead, you need to make the call. You need to make the contact with the seller. And then you need to make an appointment to go see the property. If you sleep on the lead, you're going to lose it. I can't tell you how many times I've had a solid deal that came in. I made contact with the seller. I thought I had it all locked up. I was even ready to book flights and drive across the country in certain cases because I was so excited about a specific deal. One recent one that I just lost, 35 acres with electric, that was worth over $75,000. I was able to negotiate a sales price of $35,000. But it fell through because I didn't act on it quick enough, because I didn't have the confidence. Because one thing with wholesaling is when you can't fool the seller. I mean, you know that you don't have the money to buy it, and that kind of bleeds through. So ironically, the best wholesalers are actually people who aren't wholesalers. They're just flippers who may wholesale one of their properties. And the reason that they're able to get these properties under contract is because they have the confidence to put the property under contract, because they actually have the cash to buy it. Now, when you're first starting out, you're not going to have the confidence because you're not going to have the cash. So you're going to come across as super just not convincing. You're just not going to be convincing. So the key when you're first getting started is to just break yourself in. You know, just make cold calls. Just practice cold calling. Just get a list from anywhere. Call people. Practice getting good on the phones. Practice building rapport with people. Practice, fielding calls. Those are the skills that you need to get good at. Once you can develop that skill set, then you can actually close a deal. Then once you get your first deal, now you have the confidence to get your second and third and fourth deals. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I'll handle them the best I can. Thank you.